from Veterans Memorial Stadium, Perfect Game Field here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I'm Pat Coleman, joined by Jim Dixon. We're here for D3Baseball.com at the 2019 Division III Baseball World Series. Day 3, the third consecutive quadruple header, has just wrapped up, and one team has clinched its way through to the Division III Championship Series. That is Birmingham Southern, which got there in a non-dramatic fashion with a big win over Johns Hopkins. We'll get to that game in a little bit, but what, of course, also comes down is that means we have one game on Monday. After 4 games, 3 days in a row, we decelerate down and pull into orbit around just one game, which will be a rematch between Mass Boston and Chapman, with the winner joining Birmingham Southern in the Division III Championship Series. We got so close to having just a Final Four.
It really was close. The Chapman Mass Boston final game went in extra innings, and it really could have been anybody's game.
And we'll talk about that game coming up in a little bit. We had 2 elimination games to start the day. One of them, it was a rematch between Chapman and Washington and Jefferson. And Chapman and W&J, this is a game that Jim was tied 4-4 in the 4th inning. W&J had the bases loaded, nobody out. They had 1 run in already, and then lined into a double play, and that basically changed the entire complexion of the game for the Presidents.
It really did, and everybody pointed that as the most critical point, where all of a sudden now Washington Jefferson was going to have that breakout inning, but it didn't come, and it all went down to Chapman to sit there and take out the Presidents.
Yeah, W&J did not get a hit and only had like 1 base runner after that. W&J finishes the season 38-13, 15 seniors on that squad. They went 35-6 after a 3-7 start to the year, but we'll see what it looks like for the Presidents in 2020. 2020 is still a long way away. Chapman advances into the afternoon, into the evening with that 8-4 win, and it was Cody Turner in relief with 4 innings of shutout relief. He got the win, and Nick Garcia got save number 11. The second game we had this afternoon was between Johns Hopkins and Babson. You might expect that was a good game because Johns Hopkins and Babson have played, well, up until 5 minutes ago, only good games here at this tournament. A game in which Johns Hopkins got an insurance run in the top of the 9th, and it turned out, Jim, they sorely needed that insurance run because Babson went all Babson-y in the bottom half.
You're never going to count Babson out. And when they only need a couple of runs, they might just get them. I'm just looking here and seeing that this is an odd game because Johns Hopkins, the winner, actually had 3 errors where Babson played errorless ball, and you don't see that very often.
Yeah, Johns Hopkins kind of had trouble with defense and throwing the ball around all throughout this tournament. We'll talk more about that coming up in a little bit, but it was a great pitching performance for Sean McCracken. He got the start. He went 7 innings, gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, in improving to 8-2. Jordy Allard had a really gutty start, not gutsy, but gutty, 8 2/3, gave up 6 runs. You know, this deep into a tournament, you don't expect a guy to be able to come in and, basically almost go the distance.
Well, he has experience at the Division 3, Division II World Series. He was there last year with Southern New Hampshire.
Yes. And his team, however, eliminated here this afternoon by the score of 6-5. Johns Hopkins improved to 37-12. Great year for Babson. 39-10 is where they finish it off. They had 5 players with 2 hits apiece. Just could not quite put it together. Almost put it together in the bottom of the 9th. I was about to move on, but Josh Hecka came out of the bullpen after throwing 155 pitches, going 9 2/3 innings on Friday. He comes back in and gets the save on Sunday.
And you got to say that he earned himself a starburst.
That's right. It's all about candy right now in this tournament. So that brought us to the afternoon/evening portion where we had teams that were playing for a chance to clinch berths in the Division III Championship Series. Mass Boston was one of those teams. They came in undefeated here in this tournament. They'd won their first 2 games. Chapman coming back for their second game of the day, and a tremendous diving catch by Donnie Brown, helping keep Mass Boston, helping keep Chapman in check. But then you go ahead to the top half of the 10th inning. We go tied at 4 apiece. Drew Litwin draws the bases-loaded walk, and then Aaron Wang with the bases-clearing single. He had 3 hits, 2 runs batted in on the afternoon, and it was all Chapman in the extra innings as they defeated Mass Boston 8-4.
Yeah, Wong, standing in on-deck circles, said, if I get an at-bat, the game's already won. I'm just going to see what I can do and see if I could torch that ball, and he certainly did.
He did. He had 3 hits, as we mentioned. Henry Zeisler, I don't know if you know, he's seeing the ball well. He's getting the bat on the ball. 3 for 5 in that game as Chapman forces the if game, the winner-take-all game here on Monday afternoon. And of course, our final game of the night, which was basically the only blowout we've had in this entire tournament. Birmingham Southern jumped on top early. They scored 5 runs in the first. They, if they needed more, they'd score 5 runs in the fourth. They end up winning this game by the score of 15-4. Tyler Wise, 3 for 4. Tyler Hamill, 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored and a couple of RBIs. AJ Hunt, 2 for 5 with 3 runs scored. Luke DePiro, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored. Great diving catch in center field. Not much you could say about this just because, Johns Hopkins wasn't able to put anything together in the nightcap after having a really good afternoon.
I don't know. We probably could have ended the game about 50 minutes earlier, but Johns Hopkins was out there celebrating their seniors, giving everybody a chance to play, and we like to see that. We like to see everybody get a chance to sit there and shine a little bit in the sunlight here at the College World Series.
I'm looking for that sunlight. I'm coming up a little empty here at 12:34 in the morning. Curfew is coming, but I have to say, yes, Jim talked about all those subs coming in for Johns Hopkins. Tim Kutcher gets pulled in the middle of the inning so he can get a great ovation from the fans. Chris Giacomo, I almost said that correctly. The exact same thing, bunch of pinch hitters. It was nice to see, though. I really like in any level where you can get the guys to get a nice hand by pulling them out in an unexpected situation.
It's not often you see a game that's totally out of control, and tonight we saw one that certainly was in the Panthers' favor.
All right, so Chapman looked positive when the morning started. They'll have to look positive coming up once again on Monday afternoon as they take on Mass Boston. You can see right there on your screen that game will be at noon, the only game we have on Monday, and the winner advances, of course, to that best-of-3 championship series starting at 11 a.m. on Tuesday against Birmingham Southern. Wrapping up Day 3 here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, we'll be back with a recap of Day 4, which will be much shorter.